So, hi Chinmayi, welcome to our web show. So, how have you been? Tell us how you've been and how has this lockdown period been going for you?
I thank you very much for having me on. Life has actually, I think, the first 15, 20 days, it was, I guess, it was in a limbo of sorts. I was beginning to become a little, I don't know, I felt very discomforted. And
Okay.
thereafter, I started. I started this charity drive of sending birthday wishes and songs and dedications in exchange for a donation directly to a family in need.
Yeah.
So that kind of kept me really busy, and it feels like there's some purpose. That one thing that a lot of us have been lacking, those who don't have everyday jobs, right?
Sure.
Or not working from home. So that kind of gave me the purpose, and I've been working on it. So yeah, so far very good.
Right. And I must say, you've been doing such phenomenal work for the past couple of weeks, especially with the Music for Charity initiative. You've been tirelessly singing so many songs in the past couple of days. So, to people who don't know about this initiative, please tell us what it is all about.
Okay, so I see what happens with people like me is we are asked to send happy birthdays and send a happy birthday song or a wish, which is very usual for people like me. And because as a voice artist and especially after Vinnai Tandi Varvaya, a lot of people got fascinated with asking me to send voice notes saying, "Hi Karthik, please take the phone." They wanted the Jesse voice. All the Kartiks in the world got in touch with me and said, "Why don't you give me this voice note?"
Right.
So at the time, I was highly amused by it because I didn't understand that something like this could even happen. I raised quite a bit of money, and I didn't realize I was capable of doing that. And here, instead of just plainly saying donate to this, donate to that, donate to that, I felt as if I was giving some value in return, and there was an exchange in this space, and there was also the greater good associated with it, and people felt that they were getting something in return, and they were also helping a family in need. And some of the families, especially the kind of families and the details that we have gotten, so many of them have mentally challenged children or are completely ill and bedridden family members that require constant care. And the tragedy is that these are families where daily wage laborers are the ones who are the main income generators, and they have not been able to make anything, and they take 100 rupees and 150 rupees just to feed themselves, and that too on that meter vaddi and kandu vaddi sort of a thing.
Right.
And when I saw these details, when you see that, six family members, one child mentally challenged, one child physically, I mean, visually impaired, and all of these details, when I send this to donors, some people have come back to me with, listen, I don't even want a song. It's okay. I've also had that. I think in
Okay.
probably 1,200 requests, probably 50, 60 of them have said, it's okay. I will take care of five families. Just send me one song, that sort of a thing as well.
Sure.
So yeah, we have had donations which have been really generous and very sweet requests that have come from students saying, "Madam, I can't afford. I can only afford 200 rupees. Will you still send me a song?" So there were two things that I was very particular about doing. One, to say that unless and until you give this much amount, you are not worth a song, was not something that I wanted to do.
Right.
And two, I did not want to make public the details of the beneficiaries that it went to. The donor definitely knows. It has the phone number, the address, the account number, IFSC code, all of these details the donor gets. So
Hmm.
they also call and check the beneficiary to say, to make sure that the money has reached them. So there is transparency there, but I felt that it was necessary for me to not put out these names and lists out in the public domain, and to remove the privacy and dignity from these families that they might have. And just because they're in the poverty line, I didn't feel it was fair to do it, even though a lot of people said maybe it will give your cause a lot more transparency. I said, I'm not about to go about publish the details and bank accounts in the public domain. I didn't think it was fair. I mean, if I had been in a place like that, to have a camera shoved in my face and then have my details out in the open saying that so and so family donated X amount of money to you, I just felt there was no dignity in that. It was not respectful. And it felt as if I was putting myself in a place where I felt like a massive benefactor and I was doing a favor. Uh,
Hmm.
Definitely, that was not where I came from. And I wanted to make sure that dignity and privacy was maintained by both the donor and the especially for the beneficiary, just because they're in a position where, unfortunately, they're dependent on a charitable donation. It's not as if they lose their right to privacy.
So, can you tell us some of the most popular requests that you've gotten and a few songs that have even surprised you?
Yeah, so the most popular song that I have sung is definitely Kanakil Metal. And then actually, I think Kadale Kadale 96 has trumped that. Uh,
Okay.
and in Telugu, the most requested song has been Priyatama, and it's been really. Sometimes I would wonder, maybe for one day, out of say 85, 90 videos that I'll be shooting, some 10 will go to each of this because that is their favorite song.
Okay.
Some of them have actually given me assignments saying that I
Wow.
want to know whether you're capable of singing this song. So they'll pick up a song from 1940s and say, I want to hear this in your voice to see how it sounds. I'm like, dude, this is a male solo. I can't do this. I mean, in the sense, it's not as if male solos can't be sung by a female, but
Right.
it's just that, and then there'll be duet songs where the female voice will start when the male voice is just about to end. So these are things that I think people, just an average listener, will not be able to understand the nuance and stuff like that. And if
Absolutely.
it is a heavily orchestrated song, or a song which has a lot of chorus, and then the actual melody lines will only be two or three,
Hmm.
then you will not be able to bring out that effect that they might be able to hear on the CD, and then they'll be like, "Enna, what is this? Chinmay didn't sing well." That's not how it is. So
Correct.
I don't know if they are thinking that. I'm just thinking, what if they are processing it this way?
Sure.
So, and some of them have been Carnatic classical requests, and suddenly one Endaro Mahanubhavulu. I want, but what to do? We are a family which only listens to Carnatic classical music. I said, right now I'm not looking at an exam. So don't please do this because it requires practice. It requires, and I've not practiced all of that in a long time, and it will definitely show, especially when I'm leaving it on a video and on record. They are going to go and publish it on Facebook, and somebody will come and say, "Aye, nallave illa."
Hmm.
So unfortunately, even though I'm really these needs will be taken care of, but then I can't be keeping my end of the promise. So I usually say, I'm sorry, I'll have to refuse.
Right.
So yeah, that sort of stuff has happened.
Okay. So, what is that one song which made you practice a lot, like you just said, which made you put in a lot of work?
Yeah, so one song took me about, so I had to keep listening to it to actually imbibe completely, absorb the song. One
Hmm.
of that was from Swati Kiranam, right? Swati Kiranam, dane? That old film where I had to, I think Radhika ji and Mammootty ji and all of them acted in that film of this
Okay.
very egotistical classical musician and student who comes and who upsets him, sort of a thing. Very famous. I think it's Swati Kiranam. I'm probably getting the name of the movie wrong, but
Hmm.
so I had to listen to a song there, a highly classically heavy song, and it's a duet between Vani Mama and Chitrama.
Okay.
So that, and because it's an exchange between Radhika ji and the student who's come to learn from that guru,
Hmm.
who's extremely prodigious. So they have this exchange. So she sings it in a certain way, then this person corrects it. So that sort of a thing.
Okay.
So that took me a while to listen, because these songs require that prolonged, persistent listening and then learning and then performing it. Some of
Sure.
them have given me really old TMS Soundarajan songs as well.
Hmm.
And that was that was really difficult.
Okay.
Because the kind of inflections that TMSG can do with his voice, I can't replicate, and
Correct.
it won't sound the same. So they'll be like, "Why is it not sounding like that?" So yeah, that those have been difficult. Especially the old black and white songs have been very difficult to absorb. And some of them have such poor audio quality on YouTube. So I'm not even sure if the note I'm hearing is the exact note as it was in the film. The
Okay.
other song that I was asked to, this was very touching also. So there was this song that I had to listen, a very old Malle Poola Vallidi, some song like that. I've never heard all of these songs growing up.
Hmm.
So I had to go learn this and sing this for a lady called Parvatama. And then I sent that video. Then I think probably a day or two later, that gentleman to whom I had sent it told me that my aunt passed away peacefully. This was the last song that she heard, and she turned out to be one of the most legendary All India Radio announcers. And the CM here had, expressed condolences and stuff like that. And I don't know how to do it. Um, it kind of shocked me, and I mean, really, I was very didn't know, and I just remember saying, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," on my Twitter. So some
Right.
stuff like this has also happened, and some have wanted to catch up with their loved ones. And I have a feeling maybe I have become one cupid in some places, and some songs I've had to
Okay.
refuse when I saw that the request is slightly disturbing. So I
Hmm.
was like, oh, this is crossing the line of what I can do. And just because you can reach out to me and send a video to a girl who refused your advances, I would say that I'm not going to be a part of this exercise.
Hmm.
So all of that is that. So some people have been completely open as to why they are sending it and what the reasons are. And when I read that, I would say sorry, I can't be a part of this. So so those are also decisions I'd had to take.
Sure. Chinmay, that brings me to my next question. Let's talk a little bit about the internet. Ever since the lockdown, so many creative professionals are sort of forced to think outside the box and keep their art going and march on nevertheless. So, what do you make of this period? And as an artist, do you think this has opened up new avenues? Because right now you have a concert coming up with Govind Vasant as well.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I myself am very curious as to how it will turn out. Right?
Okay, right.
Somebody is going to be playing somewhere else. I'm trying to figure out the lag. Will there be a lag when I start singing and when he starts playing and the pickups? All of this is stuff that it's definitely on my mind, but I am very, very excited about the concert because it is something new. And if this were even possible to do properly,
Hmm.
then I believe it opens up a whole wide range of possibilities with regard to collaborating with artists in a completely different city or even a different country. And
Absolutely.
that means that we really don't have to travel and waste hours in travel and jet lag and stuff like that if we can get this done properly. That'll be great, honestly. However, I
Absolutely.
don't think there is a certain magic that comes from organically meeting and the energies that are exchanged that way. There is a
Right.
lot more that can happen in an organic meeting vis-a-vis a virtual exchange of ideas.
Hmm.
But yes, it looks like this is at least for the rest of the year, we are all going to be until a vaccine or a cure comes through. We are all going to be doing, practicing some amount or some form of social distancing or the other.
Right.
I am sure, public concerts for the rest of the year is ruled out. I
Correct.
don't even know when they will start, if at all, next year, and if so, when, and then under what conditions.
Right.
Travel abroad or traveling to other cities will be out of the question. So there is a lot like this. It's definitely for artists, it's going to be a very tough time to sustain because
Hmm.
concerts are our main income generators. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very difficult. A lot of people have started, draining out their savings already
Hmm.
with no end date in sight. The top 1%, 2% really don't have, may not have to worry. But again, the question will be how many people really have liquidity, right? That is a bigger
Correct.
question.
Absolutely.
So, end of the day, I think the struggle will be the same for everyone.
Absolutely. I think that also throws some light on the flip side of the internet because you've been crusading the good fight on Twitter for such a long time. You tag the cyber cell department anytime any abuses or trolls are thrown at people, and also you intervene when fan wars on Twitter get ugly. So tell us the toll that it sort of takes on you to do this every day, and also what exactly does it do, and how does it help?
It's a good question. This is something that, see, I have been talking about social media abuse, and that was probably the first. I don't know. It was a personal thing, and then it became a bigger public thing to address. And I've been talking about social media abuse since 2009, 2010.
Right.
And my case in the cybercrime for social media harassment, and the first, if I remember right, it was the first ever arrest made in India for a social media harassment case. And
Hmm.
it was in 2012. I have been, from then on, a lot of the personal abuse that I used to, that people used to say it is normal. We can call you, we can abuse you in the name of exchange of ideas, was something that I have vehemently objected to from the beginning. If
Right.
you want to disagree, we all can disagree, definitely, but
Yeah.
doesn't my your line stops. I draw the line where you start calling me names and call me a prostitute and stuff like that, right? So I have been talking about this for years.
Hmm.
Um, and then, especially post the second wave of the Me Too movement, the abuse that I was facing was something that I was already trained for, because I have
Right.
experience. I probably would have had a PhD on, getting abuse of sorts. But this was something that I was mentally prepared for, because I knew what I was stepping into was was
Right.
asking for abuse. But that is different from my just putting out. This is something that was very, very simple, and this was a personal decision that I had to take to actually reduce the amount of abuse, which is something as simple as I put out a tweet probably a couple of years ago saying that I really love a movie. This was
Hmm.
about a big star. Then the
Hmm.
other stars fans started abusing me just for the fact that I said I liked a movie. That's it.
Right.
And I realized that there is no winning with these guys. And then I just stopped talking about big star movies and whether I like them or not.
Right.
And today, I don't think big star movies really require the kind of, I don't know, word of mouth effect that might come from a
Right.
Chinmayi tweet vis-a-vis a smaller film which might require these. And there are no fan wars. Nobody is going to come out and abuse you for that. For if you had to look at the recent film with Vijay Sethupathi and Ashok Selvan and Ritika,
Right.
those are really sweet films, and nobody is going to abuse me for saying that, it's okay. I really love that film. I loved having. I had a great time watching that film.
Yeah.
The same, and the kind of abuse that goes on in the name of fan wars on social media, and this seems to be a pan-Indian problem. I
Right.
don't know if this exists abroad, or whether it is only for India, because this seems very, very uh, this this is clearly an epidemic. It is this is for us. This is contained within India,
Sure.
and I understand this sort of a fan war. They used to say that this has been happening, in person outside theaters, and people used to indulge in hitting each other and breaking bottles and stuff like that. And
Right.
now it's probably come down to less violent and less physical activities, and this is on social media, and it's more verbal violence.
Right.
But they do not stop at just calling the other person's movie shit or trash or whatever it is that they want to say, just because they want to say something. It
Sure.
it breaks all boundaries and goes into abusing the women, photoshopping pornographic images and photoshopping nude bodies on the spouse's faces, and even dragging children into this.
Yeah.
This, I don't know what sort of human beings would even do that. And then there are other people who say don't paint all fans this way. And I have always said that I'm not calling all fans the same. It is
Right.
just that you are all part of the same fanboying system, and at some point, why won't you all clean up your own homes? And imagine if every fan club that runs something like this on social media would tell their people, you can have your verbal duels without having have to use extremely sexually abusive and explicit words against the actors, or whether male or female, or the members of their family. But they
Right.
just can't do that, and that this bystander, I will just watch it, and these people will never change, sort of a concept I have never understood, and I
Right.
don't belong to that sort of a thought process.
Hmm.
So when something like this is brought to my attention, I tag the cybercrime cell. And sometimes I wish the fan associations themselves will go and file a case. Then they expect me to be doing the work for them. Why
Right.
don't you file a case? I'm like, hey, I'm not the affected party. You are the fan club person. You are the person who's. And I wish at some point in time, uh, cybercrime would actually take note of something like this, and probably in a year, if they pick up 20 or 40 of the most abusive accounts in each region, and then figure out who these guys are and put them in jail and get them to go through a legal repercussion for this, and announce that this is the kind of behavior that they have been doing online, and we have decided to take an action to bring down this sort of verbal abuse on social media and clean up and make this safer. Because if it, one of the reasons that star family daughters or wives are not even on social media is because they'll get dragged into this abuse. They might actually have something nice to say, and they do. Only those who have this nerves of steel, or probably they don't even look at the comment section.
Right.
I believe the top stars will just tweet and leave. I'm sure they're not checking the comments. They're not checking what's going on in the notifications, because if they do, I'm sure even their mental health will take a toll. This is
Right.
something that the authorities will have to take cognizance of, just as a public nuisance or a public health or a public safety thing, and pick up some of these people and punish them. I don't know how else to stop it, because 10 years, 12 years of repeating this, none of them seem to change. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And so tell us, how do you keep calm in the middle of all of this chaos? Because you are in the middle of a lot of things on Twitter.
It's interesting. I think the biggest difference that keeps me happy and calm in general, because all of this is external.
Yeah,
My
correct.
internal space, my space, the place that I call mine, which consists of my, my home, my closest circle, my spouse, and our dogs, our puppy
Wow.
children. These are the ones. This is a completely happy, positive, lovely space. So
Right.
the moment I decide to just shut all of this down,
Hmm.
my life is anyway happy. So
Right.
perhaps somehow people believe that I'm, 24/7 bursting a blood vessel, and I'm a deep happy person. So one of the things that a lot of regional meme pages also take on me is the feminism aspect of it, right?
Sure.
So they call me a feminist prostitute in local languages. So there are meme pages that I call out. This is something that I've been talking about. I just put up a YouTube video about it as well.
Hmm.
And I just say that you need to be choosing to be kinder and a more positive, world, especially at a time like this. If a coronavirus can't change you as human beings, then what else will?
And how are your dogs doing, by the way, especially during the lockdown?
Oh, they are fine. I'm sure. I think they are in the space where they don't understand why suddenly the humans are with them 24/7. It's
Right.
going to be strange for them. And I wonder, they are wondering if these humans ever leave the house. So, yeah, it's cute. It's kind of nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, but what is completely messed up is the sleep cycle. I
Ah,
really don't know. I mean, the sleep doesn't come, and then sleep comes at random hours. The sleep is not good enough, and I
right.
think that has been my personal issue with the lockdown.
Okay.
Absolutely upside down sleep cycles.
So, Chinmay, singing apart, tell us how a regular day in your life would look like.
Oh, regular day. So both Rahul and I, in addition to this the sleeping, waking up, we take turns. We kind of divide some of the household chores between ourselves, and then there is the 3 times or 4 times of taking our puppies downstairs for their ablutions. And
Right.
then I just keep doing these videos. I try and read a little bit. I'm struggling reading.
Hmm.
I struggle concentrating on reading. But I have also started to learn to play the piano via some online classes.
Nice.
That has actually been a little bit on the back burner ever since I started turning out these videos so many dozens a day. But that
Right.
was something that I was doing, and I've been enjoying doing that. This is something that
Hmm.
I always postpone, saying that I'll do it one day, and the
Right.
piano thing will be sitting there. So that one day has come. So more or less, that's what I keep doing. I think the initial 10-15 days, we all went to full on cleaning, wardrobe, ironing, hanging, reorganizing. All of that was done, and then we cleaned again, and then we got bored of cleaning. Fans have all been cleaned several times.
Right. Full on Mary Kondo mode.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
I'm going to trouble you one more time because we can't let you go without singing a song. So, can you please sing us any song that you like?
Huh. Okay. So this can be in Hindi, right?
Sure, sure, yeah.
This is a bhajan that I really like, and I like these lines in the bhajan, so I'm going to sing that. शांति सुखमय वातावरण कर भगवती विद्या
ज्योति जगा दे शांति सुखमय वातावरण कर भगवती विद्या ज्योति जगा दे वीणा वादिनी सर्वर शास्त्री ज्ञान सरित जग में बहा दे विनती करत हूँ मैं ज्ञानी विनती करत हूँ मैं ज्ञानी जय सरस्वती वरदे महारानी हम दीन है मातु दयादानी जय सरस्वती वरदे महारानी.
Wow, that was lovely. Now, can you maybe sing us a Tamil song? Maybe any song of yours that has kept you calm in these times?
Okay, this is probably anticlimactic, but I don't listen to music. That I have never listened to music, maybe because it doesn't help me concentrate on anything else. So my car, whenever I'm driving, is silent. I can't have the radio playing or the music playing. So music is work for me. It's if I had to, because I think at some level I try to start to figure out how I can sing or learn. I think that's where my brain starts working.
Correct.
So about singing something that's calming, well, I think if it's about Tamil, I'll sing this.
காதலே காதலே தனி பெருந்துணையே கூடவா கூடவா போதும் போதும் காதலே காதலே வாழ்வின் நீளம் போகலாம் போகவா நீ
Wow, that was lovely. Thank you so much again for talking to us, Chinmayi, and best of luck for the concert. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye. Thanks.